Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Greg here. And if you're like me, you've been keeping up with everything that's been happening in Minneapolis and around the country as it relates to the George Floyd tragedy and the subsequent protesting. There has been generations of hurt that has come to a head this week. If there's one thing that these events has shown me, it's the hard reminder that racism still exists in this country. And so I've been spending some time asking God, how do you want me to respond? As a white, middle-class male, as a pastor who loves Jesus and wants other people to discover the love of Jesus, as a father who is raising sons and a daughter in this broken world, how do you want me to respond? After the curfews lift, after the protests fade, and after a verdict has been made in this particular case, there will still be work to do. So God, how do you want me to respond? What I want to share with you is what I believe God has given me as some steps that I will take to help get my mind and my heart aligned to God's mind and heart for the injustices, hurt, and experiences of my brothers and sisters of color. I want to share this as a part of my personal journey in this. I know that this may look different from your process and your journey, and it certainly is not an exhaustive process by any means. For me, it is more of a first steps in this. So I share this with you, in a sense, as my own process, and maybe encourage you to journey with me in these steps if you are looking for a pathway to process your response to the racism that exists in our country. In summary, here are the steps that I am going to take. I am going to listen. I am going to learn. I am going to lament. And I am going to love. Let me unpack these a little more. First, I'm going to listen. My hope is to adopt a posture of listening in these times. I want to hear about the experiences of those who have lived this day in and day out. And there is a reason that I want to listen first. Proverbs 18 tells us that an intelligent heart acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge. It also says that if anyone gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. What this tells me is this, is that I can be tempted to respond to recent events based off of my own experiences and the knowledge I have gained. But it would be to my folly if I don't pause and turn my ear to understanding the experiences of people who are different than I am. So I want to begin by listening. Literally, for me, it means that I have made a list of people of color in my life who I dearly respect. And I'm going to call them and see if we can make some time for a conversation. I've got some questions to ask, but my goal is to listen so that I can further understand the experiences that I have not had. My next step is to learn. As I listen to my friends, I will learn. My aim is to continue learning more about the issue of racism, historically, theologically, and personally. Historically, I want to learn about systemic roots of racism in our country. I admit that I have been woefully ignorant of all of the buildup and the history that has led up to the recent boiling point of this past week. Jim Crow laws, slavery, discrimination, and voting laws have simply been a few pages in my educational system, learned so that I can pass a test. I have been sadly ignorant, and I hope to change that. On a theological level, I also want to further learn about God's heart for all people and his radical pursuit of justice for the oppressed. Our church right now is in a series called Rerouting, which is about God's redemptive rescue of a people who experienced 400 years of oppression and slavery. I want to grow in the likeness of my restorative God in this respect. And personally, I want to do some self-reflection and some heart work to identify the prejudices that I hold and the microaggressions that I may display, all of which a heart reveals a heart that still is in need of saving. I want God to continually transform me. And so I'm asking in these days, in alignment with Psalm 139, verse 23, search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. I will name this, and I hope that this will lend itself to my next step. I will lament. Lamenting is going to God in fear, anger, confusion, hurt. It's bringing our most honest and vulnerable feelings to Him. It's a kind of prayer that I am not accustomed to praying. It is a calling out to God that this is not how it should be. I want to lament the experiences of my friends, the history and recent events of our country, and I want to repent of my participation in anything that is not unifying and building up of people created in God's image. Lastly, my hope in this process is that it produces in me what every Christian pursuit should produce: love. I want to love my community with understanding. I want to love with compassion. I want to love with empathy. And I want to love with action. Paul reminds me of the pursuit of love above all else in 1 Corinthians 13. He says, if I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. This tells me that if I go about listening, learning, and lamenting, but it does not produce in me expressions and actions of love for others, then it is all for naught. To put it another way, the transformative result in my heart and mind of listening, learning, and lamenting the racism in our world and in me must run its full course of producing in me love, or else it was not transformative at all. My aim is to be a better friend, a better pastor, a better father, a better community member, a better neighbor, and a better follower of Jesus in this broken world. What does that look like? Well, Paul tells us as he continues on in 1 Corinthians 13, he says, love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrong. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. That's what I want to become, a person of deep love, especially for those who are lost, last, least, left out, and lonely. And so that's how I'm going to respond. I do have the choice to keep insulated from the world's problems. I could occupy my mind and concern my heart with other matters. But what love requires of me is to respond to the hurt of those in our world by taking on these necessary personal steps. So if you are also looking for some steps to take, join me in this. And hopefully we could build a better world, build better bridges with the people around us, and build God's beautifully diverse kingdom right here.